Okay, so it's an hour and a half. I've done two stories. I literally might have like three left. This might be like a marathon stream. But I'm going to get into the next topic. For Khanna, I'm coming for his ass. Uh but first, you already know the deal. The links to support the show are in the description box. If you want your comments to pop up on the screen with a tip or donation, go to Streamlabs. The link is the first link in the description box. Also have links to PayPal, Patreon. There's a GoFundMe that's linked in the live chat. It's the pinned comment in the live chat. So I can have a regular place to record. I've been recording out of hotel rooms, and as I keep saying, uh, what was I saying? Oh, it is not an ideal situation. So, if you guys can help me get a regular place to record, I really just need like a studio apartment or a one bedroom apartment. And we're back in business, and I could definitely do more regular um, live streams and posting regular videos because I'd be able to record when I want. Um, and not so much on a strict schedule as I have been. All right, so I'm gonna get to this Rokana video. So you all know I have had my criticisms of and beefs with Jordan Sheridan from Status Quo. Uh, I am not a fan of his political commentary. Uh, does decent reporting, but he did an interview with Rokana, and he asked him some questions that Rokana I haven't heard him answer anywhere else. So I'll give credit for asking some original questions and questions that we definitely needed the answer to. But Rokana's the entire interview was shit, to be real with you. But the last question really kind of pissed me off because Rokana was showing how much of a fucking tool of the establishment he is when Jordan Sheridan asked him about Julian Assange, and he gave this bullshit answer, basically saying he was really there was this very strong implication within his statements that he believes Julian Assange should be prosecuted for something, but he just thinks that the indictment was written in a way that he doesn't agree with. That's my take away from what Rokana said. I'll play you the clip, and I'll let you decide what Rokana was saying because it sounded like a bunch of establishment bullshit to me. And so I have comments, and I have a lot of feelings about that. And so I'm gonna play the clip. You guys let me know how it's working for you all.
Powers. I think Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, taking really brave stands on Palestine. Why is it we can't get any progressives to talk about Julian Assange? It seems like this issue that is so obvious in terms of the First Amendment journalism, but I just literally an Al Jazeera English reporter yesterday asked the press secretary Jen Psaki, and she just dodged. It just seems like, obviously the 3.5 trillion deal is the focus right now, but I just haven't heard any elected progressives talk about what I view as, a political prisoner being tortured. President Obama chose not to prosecute Julian Assange. Obviously, Trump did. We could debate why, but I mean, the media didn't cover it. One of the few witnesses just came out saying he lied. This was an Icelandic man. There was coercion by the FBI in that case. I don't understand, why is this not more of a topic among you and other progressives to challenge President Biden to, end this farce of a prosecution?
Well, let me answer the question, Jordan, but let me just say, in addition to Yemen, I think where we have taken on the status quo and the interest, and when I started in Congress as a freshman, I was taking on my own leadership, and Bernie Sanders was willing to do that in the Senate. There are two other places where I think we have really made an impact. Bernie Sanders and I did the Stop Bezos Act, where we took on directly Amazon and Amazon's power, and it led to Amazon raising the wages to $15. And I am chairing the subcommittee of the environment, where we are going to have Exxon, Chevron, BP, and Shell come to my committee and testify, the CEOs. First time in history, it's going to be like the big tobacco hearings. And it is because I, as committee chair, along with Carolyn Maloney, are willing to use every tool in our toolbox to get these executives finally before us. So that's going to be a big moment. Those are just two other moments where I do think there's been bold leadership. Now to your specific question on Assange, I've been on the record on this, that I thought that the indictment was overbroad. I believe that you should be prosecuted if you're actually engaged in the hacking of information on a computer server, or actually facilitating someone to get classified information. But if you are engaged as in publishing and you are the recipient of that information, then I feel that an indictment is too broad and can have chilling effects on the First Amendment and on journalists. So I don't defend Assange from a perspective of substance or morality as others do. But I do think that the indictment was overbroad, and I have First Amendment concerns on the prosecution.
What are your more morality concerns? The release. I mean, he released war crimes.
I mean, I have to look through everything. I mean, I don't want to. I haven't studied his, everything, what he's done or hasn't done. I know so I haven't studied the issue about him, and nor do I feel like, as a United States congressman, it would be that I need to do that. But I can speak out on the First Amendment issue. I mean, for me, that is the job is for me to make sure that I'm defending speech and defending publishing, not figuring out a substantive position on the merits of what anyone publishes or writes. And I mean, I will if it's Joe Biden or the Speaker or members of Congress. But I feel for this, and the line in which I'm articulating the First Amendment and the overbroad indictment is also one which I think a lot of progressives should be able to get behind.
Well, as an independent journalist who certainly is not anywhere near in the same league as Julian Assange, I would definitely ask you and other progressives to really move this up the priority list, regardless of what you think of Julian Assange. This is journalistic, First Amendment journalistic freedom. If they could go after Assange and essentially criminalize whistleblowing, they will go after myself, other more high-profile independent reporters, for just about anything. And if that becomes normalized, that's just as dangerous as the things people were ranting about that Trump was doing. So I really hope you guys could reassess that and maybe fight a little louder. Last thing you want, if you had a response.
Yeah, no, I agree that we have to defend people's right to publish. I, again, draw a distinction between people who are actively engaged in supporting hacking or getting classified information. I don't think people should be doing that proactively, and that should be prosecuted. But if they are simply recipients, passive recipients from a source of that information, and they publish it, that's the Pentagon Papers, that's the Afghan Papers.
I mean, you think the Washington Post was saying, send it to me if you want. Obviously, they were actively encouraging Daniel Ellsberg, who's considered a hero. So I think that's a bit of a distinction without a difference.
Well, I mean, I think legally there's a way to define it. And I think Wyden and I, we actually tried to introduce something. It's a couple of years ago. I'll have to look at it, about protecting journalism, which basically tries to make this distinction that if a journalist is getting something from a source but not actively involved in the collection of that classified information or encouraging, where they're facilitating the breach, that they should be allowed to publish it. And that protects things like the Pentagon Papers, and will probably preserve journalistic integrity for a lot of journalistic expression for a lot of people who are independent. So that, I don't think we're that far apart.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I would say is there is no evidence Julian Assange helped Chelsea Manning hack anything. Chelsea Manning already had access to all of it. So, and the actual indictment against him was very vague. Didn't have.
I do think it's overbroad. Overbroad and vague. I do have concerns on that.
Well, thank you, Congressman Khanna, for taking time. Hopefully, we could stay in touch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
All right, so I see George E says Ro Khanna is a scumbag. That sums up this video. That sums up that clip. I mean, let me break it down from the beginning of his answer. So notice how, first of all, ran on a fucking tangent about a bunch of other irrelevant, kind of useless shit that he's done in his career, had nothing to do with Julian Assange. But when he did start speaking about Julian Assange, notice how, and this is how I know somebody, and by the way, let me preface everything I'm about to say with this. I am no longer entertaining the idea that you just don't know better when it comes to Julian Assange. Especially if you're in politics, you're a politician, or you're a journalist. I'm no longer offering that benefit of the doubt in anybody. If you're out saying shit like this, you're being wildly dishonest about Julian Assange. At the very least, lying to people about it. For whatever reason, rationalization you might want to come up with, but it feels like you're lying about it. And he's very careful to draw a distinction when asked about the indictment, asked about a journalist being prosecuted for journalism. He's very careful to make the distinction like, well, I do think that if you were helping to steal classified, hack government documents, steal government documents, then you should be prosecuted. But I also think that if you just receive those documents, you shouldn't be prosecuted. First of all, let's stop pretending like this is an open debate what happened with Julian Assange. He was a publisher who was presented documents from Chelsea Manning, and he published them and he exposed war crimes. And that's why they want his head. So don't do this. Oh, I have to. Whoops. Let me look around, see what the Department of Justice is saying, and if they think that he might have hacked them. So I don't know. It's up in the air. We have to let a trial happen, and we'll see if he helped with the hacking. But that's what they're saying, and if that's what the case is, I can't say don't indict him. We're supposed to indict people who steal classified information. So right off the bat, if and I mention this all the time with damn, I lost my train of thought. But fuck, what was I saying? Whatever. So they oh my god, it was damn. I was on a roll. Call me butter. But okay, so they Bro Khanna, like I said, he on purpose is kind of furthering the narrative, pushing the narrative that he is a criminal. He may be a criminal. We have to look into it. This is a dicey situation. It could be either side. No, he's a fucking journalist who did journalism, and they want his head for it. That's what the actual story is. So stop entertaining this bullshit. Oh, he may be a criminal. He may not be. And again, if your first reaction when asked about Julian Assange after you've provided no support, no political support, nothing to him for years during his persecution, and you claim to be anti-war, anti-imperialist, and a voice of the left, your very first words on Julian Assange are going to be providing credence to the bullshit smear that he's some type of criminal to justify his imprisonment. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. And it's so clear to me that, like I said, this is not people making an honest decision, looking at the facts or whatever, and came to the conclusion Julian Assange, I don't know, man, he's a big, bad, scary dude. No, because here's the thing. If you pretending like this has anything to do with enforcing the law is bullshit. And he at the end there, he tried to act like, oh, I don't know about Julian Assange. I can't defend him on moral grounds like some other people would because I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. Oh, really? You didn't look into the most consequential journalists of our lifetime being prosecuted by your government that you're supposed to be overseeing as a member of Congress. being prosecuted while you claim to care so much about freedom of the press and Donald Trump's assaulting the. Oh shit, the live stream got cut, huh? But we back, baby. But yeah, so you claim to all those things, but you haven't heard about Julian Assange, really? So what that all came across as was a very disingenuous bullshit, and he knows what he's supposed to say, what he's allowed to say, what his handlers in the leadership of the Democratic Party approve him to say. And he was trying to walk that line. He sounded like any regular ass establishment politician. And and again, I know one of the many reasons why I know this bullshit. Okay, you think that the Department of Justice is just equally, they're just enforcing the law here. Can you explain to me why they've expended so much manpower, so many government resources into going after Julian Assange because they claim he stole classified documents, right? But in the documents that he published and made public on endless war crimes, open and shut war crimes cases. There's videos of people in attack helicopters murdering civilians and then murdering first responders, taking them to the hospital. Have any of them been prosecuted? Not one of them, huh? Not one of the war criminals been prosecuted. But the journalist who exposed the war crimes, he's being prosecuted. And you're going to act like this isn't a fucking farce. You're going to act like this is some type of legitimate carrying out of justice. That's bullshit. And Khanna knows that's bullshit. This is the Democratic Party. This is your party. This is Joe Biden assaulting the First Amendment, doing the most egregious attack on on journalists I've seen in my lifetime. Torturing, locking up, plotting assassinations of somebody who exposed the war crimes of the war machine. That's crazy. And Khanna's going to sit here and act like he don't know what the fuck Julian Assange is. And it's just so disingenuous. And like I said, he sounds like any establishment politician who oh, that shit ended the live stream? That's wild. Huh. But he sounds like any other establishment politician who knows exactly what to say and what not to say when it comes to Julian Assange. And so all the people who are mad that we call them the fraud squad and we call all them charlatans and sellouts. Again, this is one of those non-negotiable issues. If you aren't on the right side of this, you know what the right side is, but you're making the calculation for your career that you're going to throw Julian Assange under the bus. And if we're supposed to be some type of movement of truth tellers, challenging power, challenging the establishment, there is no way you can be that and be shitting on Julian Assange and be smearing Julian Assange while you claim to be a leader of the anti-establishment truth tellers, and especially on the area when it comes to war and peace and challenging the military-industrial complex. So you ask why we call them the fraud squad. At every fucking turn, they show they have no principles. It's party over everything. Over everything. Even journalists being locked up. Party over everything. My career over everything. And yeah, we ran these nice campaigns, give you all the flowery rhetoric, raised millions of dollars from you poor suckers. But we didn't mean any of that shit. Did I say we care about freedom of speech? I was only saying that because that's what was the popular thing at the time, because Donald Trump just tweeted that Chuck Todd has sleepy eyes on Twitter. So I got in on the bandwagon and I said, you know what, I'm here to defend the press. I didn't actually mean when journalists are being locked up for doing journalism, I didn't actually mean I was going to take a bold stance against the establishment and stand up for journalism. That's not what I meant at all. So we call them frauds because they do not. They ran on being anti-establishment, but then they go on to be the very establishment that they claim to be uh, trying to oppose. But they just want to be the newest hip in version of the establishment. So that Rokana interview was fucking gross. Um, I don't know how anybody with a straight face can tell me that it is a good idea for anybody who's part of this anti-establishment movement to keep giving money to politicians like Ro Khanna, like Bernie Sanders, like AOC, like all of them who feel the exact same way about Julian Assange and will watch that man be tortured and assassinated because it advances their careers and they don't want to butt party leadership on that crucial, important issue. Why would we keep giving money to these frauds and these charlatans so that they can go and join the establishment and work against us and never advance our agenda? Why would we do that? And again, so I don't, at every turn, these fucking frauds and charlatans in Congress keep proving us correct, and all their defenders who keep acting like we're so out of bounds and we're so irrational for calling them frauds. They keep proving us correct and proving their defenders wrong. And it's to the point where they're just outright in your face flaunting, yes, we're waving that big fucking red establishment flag. Yes, we're part of the establishment. We'll toe the party line. We're defend the war machine. And when the biggest the most consequential challenger in opposition to the war machine is locked up and in prison, we won't say a fucking word to defend him for years. And then when we're asked about it, we'll give credence to this bullshit. We'll pretend like his arrest and his prosecution has any merits at all. That's what we're gonna fucking do on it. Fuck, y'all got me worked up about to bleed through my bandage. Let me see what's happening in the chat. That Ro Khanna interview got me fucking worked up. Charlie Brown's Rebellion says, good to hear Jordan pushing back on this. Yes, he did push back on it. I will say it would have been a whole lot rougher ride with me and Ro Khanna if he ever tried that shit with me. Let me tell you, that shit would be a lot less cordial. Because I'm sick of this shit. People lying about Julian Assange and pretending like this, like what's don't believe your lying eyes. It's not the government trying to silence anybody who's exposing their crimes. That's not what we're seeing here. They're just dutifully enforcing the law, and if it just so happens that Julian Assange, what he did was criminal, I mean, what can I say? I'm a Phil American. Good to see you back in the chat. Let's protect journalism by prosecuting journalists for doing journalism. Yeah, that sounds about right. The fucking partisanship, the rank partisanship in this country makes me fucking sick. Virgil Fitzgerald said he's saying that there's a moral issue, but at the same time, he hasn't looked into it. Talking out of both sides of his mouth. Fuck him. Yeah, he is talking out of both sides of his mouth. Make no fucking sense. And who fucking believes that? Who fucking believes that? Ro Khanna is on plenty of powerful committees. I believe he's on the Oversight Committee. I believe he might be on the Intelligence or Foreign Affairs Committee. And so he knows that they're going after WikiLeaks and they're going after Julian Assange. He knows that they're doing it because the Iraq and Afghanistan war logs. And he wants to play fucking dumb. As if the whole extradition trial didn't already play out. And the dragging him out of the embassy and just, I'm just a congressman. It's not like I should be, I don't know, overseeing the Department of Justice when they're prosecuting journalists. It's not like I have a right to defend the Constitution or anything like that. So don't expect me to be looking into this. Right? It was such bullshit. Bullshit. But he's my ally? He's on my team? Get the fuck out of here. I'm a full American says newsflash, all the elected anti-imperialists are imperialists. Every fucking one of them. Every one of them. DOG says can't blame Ro. Can't blame Ro. He lives in a cupboard box in another dimension. That's the only fucking way I can think you don't know about Julian Assange in this case. You fucking liar. I'm a Phil American says deep state coming for you unapologetic. I think that was from when the stream cut out. That was weird for me. That's never happened before either. Austin B says Ro is busy doing PR for the Biden administration. They all are. Oh my god, it is the funniest fucking thing on the planet. So you turn on anything and all you see are these progressives who said, "Oh, vote for Biden and push him left." All they're out there doing is like, "Oh, we're just trying to pass Biden's agenda." Why won't Joe Manchin let us pass Biden? Out there fucking shilling for Joe Biden and getting nothing for the left. It's fucking crazy. They're a bunch of fucking neoliberals. And anybody telling you still need to support Justice Democrats, anybody telling you to give a fucking dime to anybody running in the Democratic Party, they're telling you to support neoliberalism. You might as well tell people to just go volunteer for the DNC. Go fucking donate money to the DNC. Because that's exactly what you're getting. That's exactly what you're getting with everyone. They won't force a vote on Medicare for all. They won't do a goddamn thing when 20 million people are going to get evicted. The worst homelessness crisis, worst eviction crisis in history. They won't do a fucking thing. They won't do a fucking thing to end the wars. And they're going to you see them work their hardest when they're doing something for Joe Biden. When they need to pass some legislation for Joe Biden, they're out there trying to wrangle the moderates, the Joe Manchins of the world, the Kristen Cinemas of the world, engaging in that theater and pretending like, oh, the whole Democratic Party wants it, but it's just those two. And they're all there just singing the praises of Joe Biden. Oh, why don't we all get behind Joe Biden? There's a literally a clip saying, oh, we all should get behind Joe Biden and his agenda. This is what they're fucking doing. This is what they're... And they're going to tell people to come out and vote for them and give money to the next election. And when I come out there and tell people not to do it, people are still going to come out here and act like I'm the crazy one. Act like I'm the fucking... I'm the bad guy here. Okay. What was I going to say? So if y'all want to contribute to the show, the links are in the description box of this video. PayPal, Patreon. There's also a link to Streamlabs if you want to do like a super chat, kind of. You write a message, send a tip, it pops up on the screen. If you haven't noticed, my channel's been demonetized by YouTube, so that means I cannot do super chats during these live streams, which I'm sure cost me some money. But if you want to do Streamlabs, first link in the description. And there's also a very important link that's linked in the live chat. If you